Virgo, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of June. And so before I get started here, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign. So if you've never run your rising sign or know what that means, if you have your birth time and your location, you can run a free birth chart. I mean, they're everywhere on the internet. And it's going to be your ascendant or the ruler of your first house. And so that's your rising sign. But then this is also applicable for your sun sign, which usually everybody knows, and then your moon sign. Your moon sign might not be something that you know too, but when you run your birth chart, you'll see that. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is how you kind of process everything emotionally. And so really understanding the three gives you that holistic picture of how the month is going to play out. And so kind of jumping into the energy of the month, we have a lot of Gemini energy and a lot of Cancer energy. And so for you, this is going to impact your 10th and 11th houses. 10th house is the house of career and public reputation. 11th house is your group of friends. It's your community. So it's also your reputation among those people as well. So these wouldn't be those individual relationships. That's actually a different area of the chart. This is kind of as a collective, like how do you feel about your group of friends, that type of energy. So pretty early in the month, we'll just jump in. We have Mercury entering the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen on the 3rd at 3:37 in the morning Eastern time. And so for you, this Mercury in Gemini is in your 10th house of career and public reputations. So this is a lot of conversation around your career, maybe what it is that you want here, because these are very detailed conversations. That's what Mercury likes to do. Mercury likes to dig deep, get into that, get into all the nitty gritty. But this is going to be conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. So Jupiter in Gemini just happened on the 25th of May. And what I really love about this energy for you is if you're looking to have some sort of conversation as it relates to your career, growing your career, maybe getting some sort of promotion here, this is all being highlighted. These would be those detailed conversations around what it is that you want. What are you trying to grow here? Love this energy for you. This is actually going to be a really positive month when it comes to your career. I'm just going to spoiler alert right now. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so these detailed conversations that you're having about your career, it's also blending with some sort of change that's happening here that's giving you an opportunity to grow, but grow in a practical way. Because Uranus and Taurus is very practical. It's very grounded, very realistic. It is about... well, it's ruled by Venus. So it's really about what you value, what you want here. And so Uranus is one of those transformational planets. And so Uranus will kind of remove all the debris that prevents you from actually growing and moving forward. Because Taurus for you is sitting in your 9th house, and that is all about growth and expansion. And so all of these conversations that you're having, they're all kind of leading to the same thing. What do you want in your career? What kind of growth do you want here? Mercury in Gemini will also sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so the conversations and the details that you're learning within your career, that growth that you're going after, it's also creating an opportunity to have the relationships that you want. And this 7th house, it's usually like a marriage type of partnership, definitely a significant relationship, that one-to-one. So these conversations about growth and expansion within your career are also giving you an opportunity to really have the types of conversations, have the type of relationship, and even the depth of that commitment with this person, because that is what Mercury wants to do. It wants to go deep and wants to really get into that nitty gritty. It's also, this Mercury in Gemini is going to create an opportunity here in your daily routine. And so we'll have Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, and this affects your daily life. And so these conversations that you're having around your work, growing your work, expanding something connected to your career, it's creating an opportunity for you to do some sort of internal work as it relates to your daily routine, as it relates to your life. And so daily life usually encompasses a lot of things. So this would be your nutrition, your exercise habits, your daily life in general. So like that work-life balance type of energy. So it's the things that you do on a regular basis. And so Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius is also going to want to remove any obstacles that get in your way when it comes to having that daily life that you want for yourself. And so all of this is really blending in together. And then on the 6th, we'll have the new moon in the sign of Gemini. And so that's going to happen at 8:38 in the morning Eastern time. And so this is more energy connected to your career. That's exactly what this is about. But it's not just that the sun and moon are going to be at the same place. They're both going to be in your house of career, but so is Venus. And actually, all three of these planets are going to be at 16 degrees, which means this energy is really going to be amplified. They're all going to harmoniously talk to each other, blend in a really positive way, because Venus wants to bring things together. Venus wants you to grow and expand, but in a way that matters and is meaningful around what you value and what you want here. The sun is really highlighting any kind of detailed conversations. The moon, you feel good about where all of this is going. So lots of really positive energy as it relates to your career and what it is that you want to do and the direction that you want to go. There is a loose connection. So the sun and moon will be conjunct Mercury in the sign of Gemini. This one, it's a 10-degree difference. So the planets are a little bit further apart, so the conversation doesn't blend as well, but it's Mercury and Gemini, and it's already being highlighted with the sun and Gemini energy. So it's more about you understanding the impact of all of these conversations around everything in your life, because literally your one-to-one, your significant other is being highlighted, your growth and expansion is being highlighted, your daily life. And so it's really just about understanding the impact of all of that. We'll also have the sun and moon trine the south node in the sign of Libra. So for you, Libra is in your second house, and that is your personal finances. It's the money you already have, but it could be things like investments. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical, tangible money. It can be any kind of investment portfolio that you have. It could be art collections that you've bought into. And so that would be kind of within that second house energy. But Libra ruling that house, it is about finding balance within your personal finances. And so all of these conversations, the direction that you want your career to go, it's going to really blend with how you maybe save money and spend money. And so there's something really significant about, well, and I'm going to use this as a hypothetical because I'm just getting it. It's like if you were going for, I don't know, changing companies, and that would be part of you doing something here with your career, because you hit a point you weren't going to be able to grow and expand with your current company, and so now you're going to move on to a different company. What this would indicate to me is that the conversations that you might have around money indicate that there isn't going to be any change in money, or that the change is actually going to be for the better and not the worse. Like you wouldn't have to, this isn't creating some sort of obstacle or challenge when it comes to your spending or saving habits. This is something that would just blend very easily with them. And so really positive from that perspective. And that would be true even if you were going for some sort of promotion. It would be that, nothing, there's going to be really no impact. You're going to feel good about the savings that you have for yourself, or the way that you continue to save money for yourself. We'll also have the sun and moon create an opportunity for you to really step out and be a leader here. So what's going to happen is the sun and moon sitting in your career and public reputation sextile the north node in the sign of Aries. And so north node in Aries for you is 8th house energy. So this is transformation. This is there's a lot that takes place within the 8th house, but transformation is usually the one that is pretty much highlighted here. So it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to do something, for you to become a different person, really step outside your comfort zone. That's what this is really highlighting here for you, is standing up for yourself, taking some sort of leadership role here. That north node in Aries really wants you to take some sort of action. Now, this is an opportunity. It's not something that will just organically happen. You're going to have to do something about it, but it looks like the opportunity is here and it's connected to your career. So if it is about a promotion, I mean, that would definitely be highlighted. It's going to require you to do something. And then we'll also have the sun and moon square Saturn in Pisces. And so I'm going to highlight this now just because we're going to see a lot of squares to Pisces energy. So the 7th house for you is Pisces. And so those would be your one-to-one relationships, marriage partner if you're married, but really those significant relationships in your life. Could even be contracts and negotiations. That could absolutely be playing out here. When the sun and moon in your 10th house, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to Saturn and Pisces. So I'm trying to find the right way to say this, because Saturn and Pisces requires you to work on your dreams, and this would be your dream, could be contract. So if this is a work contract, signing something here, this could be a partner. So this could be a work partnership that you want here. This could be your significant other. And so what it's doing is it's creating some sort of challenge to that relationship, or to getting exactly what you want out of that relationship or that contract. But it is something that you can work with. It's a square energy. So think of it as like a Saturn type of energy where you just need to work through it. We'll then have Mars enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen on the 9th at 12:35 in the morning Eastern time. And so Mars in Taurus is very grounded, very practical, very nurturing type of energy. And Mars is very action oriented. This is the god of war. And so Mars in Taurus for you is sitting in your 9th house. And so what action do you want to take when it comes to your growth? Because this Mars in Taurus will do two things. It'll be conjunct Chiron and Aries. And so when it comes to any kind of wounds that have been coming to the surface, you're probably already aware of what wounds are coming to the surface because they've been coming to the surface since we had that eclipse back on April 8th. And so Chiron and Aries, this is transformation. So what is it that you feel? Because that's really being highlighted right now. I can feel it right here. If you felt like you weren't good enough to do something, or you felt like you created something for yourself, you created some sort of security blanket for yourself, and you had a very hard time stepping outside that comfort zone. And so the longer you were in that comfort zone, the more comfortable it felt, the better you felt about it, the more right it felt to you, even if it wasn't. And so Chiron and Aries, there might have been some sort of wound that came to the surface that really highlighted how unhealthy that was for you, whatever that structure was, or staying in this longer than you should have, because there's power and control issues that are highlighted here in that 8th house energy. There could be power and control, I would say probably the one that is the biggest one. Intimacy issues are also highlighted. So that could also be taking place too. Whatever this is that's been coming to the surface here, this action that you take to grow and expand yourself is actually going to help heal whatever wound has been coming to the surface, or these different triggers. It's going to help heal some of these triggers that you may not have realized existed, but it does relate to you changing and transforming who you are and really accepting things about yourself, or understanding that you are capable of more than what you thought you were capable of doing. We'll also have Mars in the sign of Taurus square Moon in the sign of Cancer. And so the moon is your emotions. Cancer is also your emotions. The moon is the ruler of Cancer. And so with Mars and Taurus in your 9th house, the actions that you're taking to grow and expand are creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to how you feel within your group of friends. There's something here that's taking place. You have an opportunity, and I say it as an opportunity because it's something that you're really going to have to work on. You're really going to have to see it and then take that action. How you feel about your friends, the depths of the feelings that you have for your friends. There's something about that, maybe the way that you are with your friends, the relationship you have with them. They may not expect you to take the type of action that you're taking in order to grow and expand who you are and really go after exactly what you want here. And so that's where the obstacle and challenge is going to come into play. We'll also have Mars and Taurus square Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so these actions that you're taking to really ground yourself, grow yourself in a really meaningful way that aligns with what you value, it's also creating some sort of obstacle or challenge here in your daily routine. But it's this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. It requires some sort of change within your daily routine. This would be some sort of internal change. This would be removing some sort of barrier, some sort of block. If it is about maybe that Chiron 8th house energy where you felt like you weren't good enough to do something, or you weren't capable of doing something for whatever reason. And so what you did was you created structures around that insecurity or that fear. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is saying, well, yeah, but those don't need to be there. We don't need these restrictions. We don't need those limitations anymore. And so this is giving you the chance to really work on this and really move through that type of energy. And then on the 17th at 2:20 in the morning Eastern time, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Cancer. And so this is really positive. So we'll have Venus in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Gemini. Venus in Cancer, so when you think about your emotions and how you feel and the depths of your feelings, Venus is really kind of taking it into like a loving way where Venus wants to bring things together. Venus is harmony, balance, it rules relationships. And so that can be coming to the surface right now. Sun in Gemini, so conversations around how you feel about things, those detailed conversations. And so where this is going to impact you, Venus in Cancer is sitting in your house of friends, so those group of friends. So how you feel about your friends, kind of bringing those people together, just how you function within that relationship itself, will be conjunct the sun in Gemini. And so this is an easy blend with everything that you want to do from your career, whatever it is that you see for yourself from a career standpoint, those detailed conversations, everything really just blends very easily right now. We'll also have Venus conjunct Mercury in the sign of Gemini. And so more conversations around this career, around the path that you're going, conversations with friends, or maybe even valuing. This could be actually work friends coming up too, now that I'm thinking about it, because we have a lot going on with 11th house, 10th house. And so this would indicate maybe work friendships are being highlighted here. There's something connected to you, whatever it is that you want to grow and bring together from that perspective. We'll also have Venus trine the moon in Libra. And so the moon in Libra, again, is in your house of personal finances and the things that you value. And so when it comes to how you feel about your friends and those just friendships collectively, it's aligning with how you feel about your finances and your personal security and just maybe that way that you've set yourself up financially. And so all of this energy really blends together. It's more kind of validation from the universe that you're on the right path. That's what this feels like. We'll also have Venus sextile Mars in Taurus. And so Venus in Cancer is creating, so how you feel about your friends, those kinds of conversations that you're having with them, it's creating an opportunity for you to take action, for you to grow. There's a lot that you're learning about yourself. There's a lot of like self-development that's taking place right now. Then we'll have Venus in Cancer square Neptune in Pisces. And so that Neptune in Pisces energy, Venus in Cancer is about your friends, and it's what you value about your friendships here. But it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to your one-to-one relationships. Most importantly, like if you're married, it would be your marriage partner or like a significant other. And so there's something with your friends and this person that you love or this person that you're with. There's some sort of obstacle or challenge here. Now, I'm saying this, you're going to see roughly 2 weeks later that there's going to be an opportunity to really work on some of this. So I'm just going to highlight that right now. On the same day that Venus enters Cancer, so that happened at 2:20 in the morning, then we have Mercury enter the sign of Cancer, and that happens at 5:07 in the morning, so less than 3 hours later. And so when this happens, these two energies, they're going to blend completely together because they both just entered Cancer at the same time, essentially. And so with Mercury conjunct Venus, so lots of conversations around how you feel, bringing things together, what it is that you value about your friendships, because this is all sitting in your house of friendships. We'll also have Mercury conjunct the sun in Gemini, and so these conversations that you're having with your friends are also connected to your career and what it is that you're trying to do within your career. So you might even be having conversations with your friends, and it feels like you probably have been having conversations with your friends around the direction of your career and maybe things like that. Maybe there's somebody there that's helping you, or collectively they're giving you some sort of advice when it comes to your career. All of this energy has been blending very easily. So very harmonious and really kind of pushing you in the right direction. It feels very transformational. And then speaking of transformational, we'll have Mercury trine the moon in Scorpio. And so the moon is all about how you feel about things. Scorpio is transformation. That is sitting in your third house. And so it's communication. So these conversations are transformational. If I had just gone to the next line, I would have seen that. So whatever conversations you're having with your friends around what you value, what you want here, the depths of everything, it aligns with the conversations that you're having. These feel like very authentic conversations. Nothing's being held back. You're just really kind of understanding everything on a deeper level. And then we'll have Mercury square Neptune in Pisces. And so conversations with your friends, how you feel about those conversations, or even as they relate to feelings, is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to that ideal relationship that you want to have with your significant other. And so that's the Neptune and Pisces energy. It's really that relationship itself. This one doesn't feel so much career as much as it might be like your friends and your significant other. There's just something that prevents this from being harmonious. It's energy you can work through. It's not like a deal breaker by any means. It's a square. You can work through it. And then we'll have Sun enter the sign of Cancer. So that happens on the 20th at 4:51 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so when this happens, The sun enters the sign of Cancer, but we just had Venus and Mercury both enter the sign of Cancer. So they're in a conjunction. They're all talking to each other. And so this is a lot of expressing what you value with your friends, just in general, like the depths of your feelings, understanding everything as it all relates to each other. So this is really, really positive. I mean, you're having a lot of really positive interaction with your friends this month. You're learning a lot about yourself. I see a lot of progress forward in your career and just maybe the support of the people around you as it relates to your career. Now, with this sun in Cancer, it is going to create a square to Neptune and Pisces. And so not a surprise here. We got that with Venus, we got that with Mars, and now we're getting it with the sun. So we've got this kind of ongoing challenge between your friends and your significant other. But you're going to see here, by the time we get to the end of the month, there's going to be an opportunity to work on that. We'll have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn on the 21st. And so that happens at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. And so the sun and the moon are at opposite points in the sky. And so the sun sitting in the sign of Cancer. So this is really highlighting how you feel about things. And then we've got the moon in the sign of Capricorn, which is also how you feel, but about maybe work and your responsibilities and your duties. And so here for you, we've got the sun in Cancer in your 11th house. We've got the moon in Capricorn in your 5th. And so conversations you might be having, expressing yourself with your friends might be opposite children, if you have children. So this sense of duty and responsibility that you feel towards them, or maybe some sort of structure that you put in place, because that's Capricorn energy. It could relate to children, could relate to hobbies, really how you enjoy spending your free time. That would also include maybe short-term relationships here. And so it is a push-pull type of energy. You can find a balance, but it does require some work here to find that balance. And so with this full moon, you're going to see that the sun is going to have some conversations with planets, and then the moon is going to have different conversations with those planets. And so we'll have the sun in Cancer conjunct Mercury in Cancer. So we've already been through this. It's a lot of conversation around and understanding the impact of how you feel about everything as it relates to your group of friends. And so really positive there. But the moon is going to be opposite this energy. And so the moon, when it comes to your sense of duty, responsibility, maybe structures that you've put into place, it is opposite. It is that push-pull towards your friends. And so if it's something where like you have children, so you can't go out all the time because you have children and you're responsible for taking care of those children because they're not going to be able to feed themselves. And so it would be something like, I have this sense of duty to my children, but I also want to go out with my friends. And so it would be that type of energy. I'm giving a very simplistic example, but it's that type of energy. We'll have the sun conjunct Venus in Cancer. So again, very positive here. As it relates to your friends, very harmonious type of energy, bringing things together, what you value, all of it within your group of friends. But the moon is now going to be opposite Venus in the sign of Cancer. And so how you feel about your children or your hobbies or just the work that you need to do as it relates to that, because you might actually be working on a hobby. Like for me, this YouTube channel is a hobby. And so this is something that I would say falls like within that moon and Capricorn energy. I enjoy doing it, but it's a structure that I've put in place for myself. And so it's a hobby that I enjoy doing. And so it could be something like that that's also creating this push-pull when it comes to your group of friends. The really interesting one, though, is we've got the sun in the sign of Cancer. We've got the moon in the sign of Capricorn. Each one of those separately is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to Neptune and Pisces. So when it comes to your sense of duty, when it comes to your 5th house energy, so children, hobbies, things like that, the structures that maybe you've put into place are creating obstacles and challenges within the relationship that you want to have. It could also, and it will also be the sun in Cancer. So conversations that you're having with friends are also creating some sort of obstacle or challenge when it comes to the relationship that you want to have. And so it could actually, because of the way that all of this is playing out at the same time, it could have a lot to do with you just don't have enough time to do it all. Like you want to do all of these things. You want to spend time with your friends. You want to be with your children or spend time on that hobby, but you also want to spend time with your significant other. And so it could just be like, there's not enough time for me to do it all. And so that could be highlighted here. That would be some sort of obstacle or challenge. We'll also have the moon in Capricorn trine Mars and Taurus. And so again, moon in Capricorn, your hobbies, your children, things like that trine Mars and Taurus. So this is actually an easy blending of energy. So the actions that you're taking to grow and expand yourself completely aligned with how you feel about your responsibilities, the time that you spend with your children, or just that sense of duty you have to your children, or could be your hobbies, things like that. And so really easy blend of that type of energy. And so it completely aligns with what you're trying to do for yourself to grow. This moon in Capricorn is also, and I love this energy specifically, trine Chiron in Aries. And so when you think about these wounds that have been coming to the surface, and we would have been seeing this over the past couple of months, and again, really since that April 8th eclipse in the sign of Aries, because that eclipse really highlighted Chiron, they were all at the same degree point. With these wounds that are coming to the surface, so power and control issues, intimacy issues, things like that, if you have a hobby, there's a hobby here and a structure you put into place around your hobby that may negate these power and control issues. Like if you have a hobby that generates money for you, you're now not beholden to somebody else providing you an income. You're able to do it for yourself. That would be some sort of healing of a power and control issue because you took your power back. And so there's something connected to what it is that you're doing, whether it's children or it's your hobbies, the structures that you put into place, the things that you're working on as it relates to that are also helping to heal these wounds that are coming to the surface. They're helping to transform you in a better way and help you to become not more whole, because you're always whole, but more healed. And then here at the end of the month, so on the 29th, we have Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces, and that's going to happen at 3:06 p.m. Eastern time. And so this is where, when we saw all of these squares in the sign of Pisces, we saw a lot to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. This is where you're going to get an opportunity to really work on all of it. And so with Saturn station retrograde, Saturn is work, Pisces is your dreams. And so when it stations retrograde in the sign of Pisces, what do you need to work on in order to get what you want? That's quite literally what it's going to mean. And for you, that's sitting in your 7th house. So your significant relationship. So marriage partner, if you're married, those one-to-one significant relationships in your life, that is definitely being highlighted here. When this Saturn stations retrograde, it's going to be trine Mercury in the sign of Cancer. And so what's going to happen, you're going to be working on yourself as it relates to your partnership, your one-to-one relationships here. It's going to easily flow now with the conversations that you have with your group of friends. There's something here where you're able to change your perspective or the nature of your relationship with somebody here that actually puts you in alignment now with your group of friends. Whereas earlier in the month, we got a few instances, specifically the 17th and the 20th, with Venus, Mercury, and the Sun all entering the sign of Cancer, where this was a challenge. Now this is not going to be a challenge anymore. And I just got deja vu. So anyway, we'll also have Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces, trine Venus in Cancer. And so this Saturn retrograde in Pisces, so working on yourself as it relates to your relationships, that relationship that you want to have, what is it that you want here, and what work do you need to do in order to have what you want in that connection, trine Venus in Cancer. And so now what you're starting to see, again, all of this blending and this kind of harmony coming into play when it comes to your friendships, and it's aligning that significant person in your life with your friends. That's what it is. And what it's also doing is Saturn retrograde will sextile Mars in Taurus. And so the work that you're doing on your relationship, again, specifically a marriage, if you're married, or it's that one-to-one relationship, it's creating an opportunity in order for you to take additional action to grow. There's something here where it's going to spark you in some way to take some sort of grounded, practical action that aligns with who you are, who you want to be. There is a growth opportunity here, and it is coming across as an opportunity. This is something that when it's presented, if you want to take it, you can. If you don't, then it will never come to fruition, because it's that type of energy. It's not something that's just going to organically blend. So Virgo, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.